Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you for joining us in this experimental live event where we are going to try to bridge what we've been doing on Patreon with the live events on YouTube. So thank you for everyone who wants to test this out. So basically, the general rule of thumb for today is that it's going to be a very similar live event that we've done so far. Today's topic will be like we're in a state of limbo where we can choose any type of reality that we want, but anyone can ask questions regarding this or add something to this. It can be also somewhat off topic since today's transmission is very experimental. But what is different today is that I have pinned a comment in the top section of the chat box, which is the join us on Zoom, and you have a link to the Zoom session. So you can come into the Zoom session and be part of the conversation if you want to. You can also write in the chat box if you want your question to be read. But also what would be recommended is to join us during on Zoom, basically. And if you raise your hand in the Zoom meeting, then I will enable your sound. And if you want to show up on video, that's fine with me as well, as long as you're not in your bathroom or something. And yeah, please join the conversation. Everyone will have in general 3 to 5 minutes to ask or add something, so everyone can have the opportunity to speak, and I will try to give my input to it, or if it's needed, or if it's not, then just be part of the conversation. It's cool. So thank you everyone for joining us. We already have 4 people with us on Zoom. Thank you for being there. And also some lovely people on YouTube as well. So if anyone wants to join us on Zoom, you have the link to it pinned to the top of the chat box. You can join us through there, or you have the link in the community section post for this event if you are having difficulty finding the chat box. Okay. So this is an experimental event. We will have our regular live event with higher vibrations on Thursday. And also next Thursday, we're going to have a live channeling session, which something that we did last week. So if anyone who has missed that, you can visit the replay in the community section post. You can still watch the Zoom session where I was channeling my guides. And we're going to do that next week, so stay tuned for that. But up until then, today's topic is we're in a state of limbo in this transitional period that we're in right now, from transitioning from old Earth to the new one, where everything is present all at once and everything is possible. And now, based on what we choose to focus on, and what we choose to act upon will anchor the specific reality in our life experience, basically. So depending on what thoughts you have, what feelings you have, what you focus on during your day-to-day life will be anchoring in more and more the reality with which that resonates with, basically. So if you're focusing a lot on the negative stuff or the things that are not working in your life, then basically that will be amplified, and you're starting to go down on a route which is leading to more of that, basically. But what would be recommended is to basically take the steering wheel, or to basically to sit in your own driver's seat at this time, and also moving on forward, and to basically take responsibility for all of your actions, for who you are, all your thoughts, feelings, whatever you put out into the cosmos, take responsibility for that, and create, think, and act from a very conscious way. So whenever, basically this is where being mindful comes in very much so. So when you move along in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day activities, during family events, or just simply being at work. So basically be very present. And whenever these unpleasant feelings, thoughts, and stuff that you don't prefer start to creep into your mind, or you start to act from a perspective that is not of your preference, then basically catch yourself and realize oh, I was slipping into an alternate reality that I don't prefer to be in. So whenever I hold those energies in myself, I'm like, you can visualize yourself like tuning into a parallel timeline, which will probably lead to stuff that you wouldn't prefer to have in your own life. So yeah. So whenever that happens, like catch yourself and like, okay, like stop, like, okay, I can feel that, it's perfectly fine, but I choose not to be in that state. So instead of that, focus on the things that you do prefer to have in your life and basically take action from that perspective and like go consciously in that direction. Like this can be very difficult at times, I know, but the more we do it, it's like a muscle that we can train, the better we can get at it. And that's basically what it is required of us at this time. Sometimes, yeah, like I always talk about, and also my guides talk about like taking action and like each day do something that is representative of the reality that you want to be in, or take steps in like improving your own life to be the person that you always wanted to be. But there are periods in our lives or during our days when it is impossible to do that. So if you cannot do that, at least like visualize and feel like, what would that be like for you to be in that ideal reality? What would it be like for you to be that ideal you, the person that you always wanted to be? And yeah, not just visualize, but also feel it and anchor it in as much as you can. And like whenever the unpleasant stuff come in, then just simply like stop that and like replace it with the things that you actually want to have in your life, and hold that energy as much as you can during your day-to-day life. Hey, Higher Vibrations has joined us. Hello, thank you for being here. Sending you all so much love and many hugs. Thank you. Beautiful, intense, and energies. Hello, everyone. So yeah, like you can also have, if you have any questions and you don't want to join us on Zoom, then you can write it into the chat box on the YouTube Live as well. And if you put some question marks at the beginning, that will be super helpful. So I can like filter out the questions from the non-questions, or just simply mention my name at the beginning of the content. Okay. So let's see. Janine. Yes, it's been a roller coaster. Times of strength and positivity, then times of frustrations. Yep. That is leading to complete surrender and faith. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, like in general with the frustration part, like I've also been from the past 2 months and like some kind of major life transformational stuff has been happening. And the cool thing about this whole phase that we're in right now is that like everything is present and possible. So life can go in many directions. Like you can go in a very positive one, and you can like also slip off in a timeline that would probably not be a preferred choice in general. But the cool thing about this phase is that you can actually, now you can manifest stuff that you prefer to have in life. So from that part, this is super exciting that we can like do that in a more fluid way. Like it can happen much more quicker now because we're becoming more lighter. And the cool info that my guides shared in the last channeling session is like, you can imagine it in a way that maybe 10 years ago, just a few years ago, like manifestation and like attracting stuff was like far slower, because like we're in a physical reality, things are dense, density moves a lot slower. But whenever we like meditate or experience the astral realms, then like things can manifest very quickly. You can just think of something and it appears. Like that can happen in many alter states as well, because in the higher realms, things are more fluid. Oh, thank you, Higher Vibrations, for the first super chat. Awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, like things are much more fluid, and you will find, I guess, like many of you who have been on this path for quite some time, or if you've been consuming some psychedelic stuff, like just thinking of something can make it happen or appear in front of you. So we're nearing such a period in our life, basically, as a collective, that we're transitioning from the very dense way of doing things into the much lighter way of doing things, where things, when you like put out something, it comes to you back very quickly. So this is why it is so important to always put out things that you prefer to receive back to. Because like back in the past, we had this delay. So if you're like putting out some kind of energy and it was like not of your preference, you like still had some time to maneuver and like recalibrate stuff. When that energy like hit back, like it was not all of a sudden, you can like readjust and course correct. And now this like grace period when you can like recalibrate stuff is like becoming shorter and shorter. And I know like many of you have been also like talking about like instantaneous like karma, like when you do something and it like reverberates back very quickly. Like I also like what I've experienced in the past few years is that like some kind of issue comes up during the day and you have the opportunity to resolve it very quickly. So maybe something that would have taken us like weeks or maybe years to like bring it to fruition, like to a complete arc. Now it like can be resolved in the same day when the problem has risen, basically. So if we are willing to like go with the flow and like do the inner work, like things can manifest super quickly for us right now. Like we can do a lifetime's worth of work in just a matter of weeks or days, basically. It depends on like how willing you are to actually do the work. And I see that Thanya, I think I posted a question. Yeah. Guardian, can you read the Discord questions on your Discord? People have posted there. No, I cannot right now. I'm not on Discord right now. Okay. Okay, can you explain when you are going live again on Patreon page? I'm not doing Patreon anymore. I did a somewhat lengthy post of like explaining on what is going to happen to Patreon. So if anyone hasn't read that, then please do. Like we're transitioning into a new way of doing things. And this live event is also a part of that experimentation of like how we can blend what we have done on Patreon with the YouTube community. Okay, so yeah, like if anyone wishes to add or ask something, now would be a wonderful time. If not, I will continue to ramble on and bring through some information. Okay, so Total Eclipse has shared something. Yes. How can my fear manifest very quick? Then the things I want to happen, and how can avoid manifesting negative stuff in my life? Okay. Okay, so this is basically where the whole calibration stuff comes in. Okay, so yeah, like this is what I was kind of talking about, that like things reverberate back to us like very quickly. So whenever like our fears come up, like they can manifest in a pretty big way very quickly. Like some of us, especially like who have been on the awakening journey for some time, like we had time to like readjust and like experiment with this. For example, if anyone is like familiar with the shamanic initiation, I would hide, if people are not familiar with it, I would recommend like doing some research on it. Like globally, we're going through a global shamanic initiation right now, where like all our darkest fears are being amplified and brought to the forefront so we can face it before we move to the next phase. And like this is what happens during the first phases of the initiation process too, that like for the shamans, it's like they consume certain psychedelics that put them into an altered state of being where they are like confronted by things that were like boiling in their subconscious, and they need to clear it out before they move forward into the higher way of being. And that's pretty much what we're doing on a global scale right now. Like all the crazy events that have been happening for the past few years have been that crazy psychedelic that has been pushing things to the surface. Okay, but how can you navigate that? Great question. Yeah, like whenever it comes up, like I've suggested, like try to catch yourself and like not go down on that road. And whenever you can do that, try to always like replace it with something that you actually prefer to have rather than the things that you actually fear to manifest. And some great ways, okay, everyone in the meeting. I just reposted something. So the great way of like overcoming fear, I always recommend the violet flame, doing meditation with a violet flame, anchoring yourself, doing some grounding work. And if you're like not familiar with violet flame meditation, I highly recommend like doing some research on it, finding some meditations. I also believe I have a few on my channel that you can try out if you want to, but simply just try to find a way of like which works best for you. First of like try meditations that other people do or recommend and see what sticks, what you prefer to do, what you don't prefer to do. But in general, like the violet flame meditations guidelines are that you're like bringing forth the violet flame, which is a very high vibrational energy. And the purpose of it is that it transmutes everything into source creative energy. So all your fears, doubts, limiting belief systems, sickness, everything that is of density and lower nature and is holding you back from reaching a higher state of being will be transformed in a violet flame into something lighter and more constructive. And basically you can work with the violet flame as much as you can, like it has its own consciousness, its own awareness. So you cannot do anything off or detrimental. You cannot hurt yourself or other people. It's a superb way of like pushing yourself forward on this path and like making things easier for you instead of like struggling with the whole process. Like these tools, these energetic tools, like can really, really amplify your healing process and this whole awakening journey. And just simply in general, you can just make it much easier for yourself. Like this whole process doesn't need to be difficult. I believe also, I can't find you right now. I think Janine has said that it's like it's exciting, but also frustrating at certain parts because we have like many blockages and roadblocks during the way. And basically, whenever those things come up, are there to remind us that, hey, like there is something out of alignment in you that should be resolved at this point right now. So you can move forward in a more graceful way. And basically using these tools as the violet flame or whatever type of meditation or transmutation you prefer can really help you with the process. So it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be difficult. Like you can make it easy for yourself. And also consciously ask for guidance and assistance from your guides. So I always like, and now I don't do it anymore, but in the beginning, I always did this intention when something difficult was starting to manifest in my life that, hey, like, please help me get over this very quickly and efficiently. And I want to learn and heal as fast as I can and as easily as I can. And they usually really, really do their best to assist you in that. So I highly recommend working with your guides as much as you can. Okay, so in the YouTube chat section, higher vibrations, how can we best use the intense healing energy right now? Well, okay. Well, we were just talking about the violet flame, which can be also used for healing on many different levels. And yeah, like in general, I think like we're in a phase right now where any type of transformation is like super amplified. So like everyone is kind of in the same environment, which is like, is pushing us forward in our awakening journey, something very similar to when the initiation process happens with, for example, the shamans or any types of other initiates. We're in that phase when everything is like supercharged and is like coming to the surface to be cleared. And it can be super scary and frustrating, especially if many things come up at the same time. But you can like also like turn it around and think of it as okay, like all these things come up because now it is the best time to release them. And since now it is the best time to release them, you don't have to like process it as much. You don't have to like spend as much time on it and energy. Things can be done very quickly now. So depending on like how willing you are to like jump forward and like take the next step, like things can really, really happen for you very quickly. Okay, so Tamara, first time on the live, please tell me about this channel. Hello, Tamara, thank you for joining us. Well, basically, in short, I'm here to awaken your cosmic consciousness and like bring through messages from the stars. So thank you for joining your star family. And it is awesome that you were guided here. And we have Jenny in the Zoom. Awesome. Okay, so Carolina, thank you for being there for us and helping navigate the journey we are on. Well, thank you for joining us on this awesome journey and being courageous enough to step forward, basically, because it is not an easy process to navigate this whole thing. And especially like many people don't really want to go on this journey because you actually have to put into work. But like doing self-work, it can be the most fulfilling thing ever, at least in my experience. Like letting go of all the crappy stuff from your old past life and moving forward and manifesting for yourself a life that you actually want to live in. So very exciting stuff. And like if you're willing to go on this journey, like now it is on steroids. So yeah, like buckle in. Okay, so try B. I have been seeing 888 a lot lately, and that's rare for me. Yeah, I haven't been seeing that. Like, for example, higher vibrations, and I do also see 1, 2, 3, 4 a lot, and 1111s a ton, to be honest. And I'm surprised that it's not 22 right now, but yeah. Okay. All right, so yeah, Donna has a question. I just wanted to say that if nobody says anything, I'm going to continue. So, okay. So Donna asked, is it possible to envision a fear or a representation of the fear and send it so much love that it lets go? Yeah, like I've never really tried like bringing them up on purpose. Like maybe only during like healing sessions or meditations. But yeah, like during our days, like they can totally like come up and come to the surface from our subconscious, which can be a very unpleasant experience. But in general, what I've been doing with also what we've been doing during the meditations is that we go into a sacred space, being centered in our hearts and grounded with Mother Earth, asking all our guides, archangels, angels to assist us and to bear witness to the healing process. And basically in that sacred state, to bring forth maybe a specific fear or limiting belief system that was like starting to become part of your day-to-day life during that period, because then it is the time to release it. It is the best time to let it go. And it usually comes up as maybe a person or an event that you had, or maybe a life circumstance from your past. And like you can like relive it to a certain extent, but still while it is happening, try to stay in that sacred space of like being centered in your heart. And from that sacred state, like send it what Donna has said, like love and appreciation, gratitude, and a lot of healing for all the experiences that you had and shared in that space with that limiting belief system that you had, because like it was a crucial part of your development and it has assisted you in becoming who you are right now. And since now this have come up, it is time to let it go. And the best way to do it is like, yeah, like what Donna said, like send it love and appreciation, or transmute it with the violet flame, like whatever technique works for you. And it just slowly starts to dissolve, be transformed, and it fades away because it's ready to move on its own journey. And you're also ready to move forward on your own path, basically. And there is also an awesome prayer, the Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaii prayer, and I will probably mix up the order, but maybe you can like visualize maybe a person, a loved one, or a past relationship, and visualize them and say to them, I am sorry, please forgive me. I love you, I thank you. Maybe I mixed up the order, but basically there are like 4 proclamations, and do it like repeatedly, almost like a mantra, while you have that specific person, life circumstance, or belief system, or something in your focus, and like send them this energy from your heart that I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. And it will like completely like transform your entire relationship with that specific energy. It will lighten things up and make them more clearer. Okay. Okay, so high vibrations. For anyone who would like to join this chat live on screen, please follow the pin link at the top of this chat section. Okay, thank you, high vibrations. Yeah, like nobody has raised their hands, so nobody wants to ask any questions during the live. Yeah. So if you just want to like add something or ask something, then please raise your hand in the on the Zoom session, and I will enable your sound and you can be part of the conversation. Yeah, like Mia said, the ripple we create by raising our consciousness has an immense effect on the collective. Yep. And basically, that's why we are here in general. Yeah, like Tamar said, little drop of the ocean. Exactly. Yeah, like each and every one of us is like a little drop of the ocean. And we came in to basically absorb and take on of ourselves a lot of unpleasant experiences like relationships, family karma, karma of maybe soul tribes or countries or whatever groups. Like since we chosen to be born in them, we have taken on all those baggages, and we have also managed to create quite a bit while we were here, since Earth is very good for that. And yeah, like our purpose is of like finding a way to transform them. Like there isn't a specific way of doing it. Like each and every person has their own way of finding their own path to healing, basically. Like in general, I think it's an awesome resource that we can communicate, because like decades ago, we didn't really have this resource of like actually communicating so fluidly with each other and like sharing our experiences. For example, I had my awakening experience 11 years ago, yeah, in 2012. And even back then, we didn't really have much resources online regarding this whole journey. But all the things that I've managed to find on YouTube or whatever, like seminars or books, were like indispensable and crucial in the whole process of the awakening for me. So, and now it's even more, like more people are online. We have better platforms of communicating, and you can find a ton of good resources these days. So basically, it's like all up to you how willing you are to step forward and find, and basically more like attractive things that are more in alignment with you. For example, I'm not sure about you guys, but usually how it works for me is that maybe I am working on something, or maybe I have a question regarding something, and just by magic, YouTube recommends some kind of video that is like answering my question, or is like something that can point me in the direction that I need to go. And it's like ridiculous how this thing works. But it's also very much fun to see like how your guides or the universe is like putting together things in front of you, so you can like they can like best serve you on this journey. because like, especially in the beginning phases of our journey, like communication can be like very limited with the higher realms, since we're like not used to communicating with our guides. We're not really used to receiving higher information. So many of us communicate through synchronicities of like seeing repeating patterns or seeing these numerological synchronicities, and just simply attracting stuff in your day-to-day life that reflect to you what you need to know. So those are some awesome things. For example, one of the awesome things that just came to my mind was like, I think like 10 years ago, when I was like starting to work more with Earth Mother, and I was on the bus and I had to get off, and the whole day I was like pondering and like thinking about like Mother Mary and Mother Earth, and all these things were like circulating in my mind. And I had to go by foot to work for a period to catch another bus. And I had to pass before a church, and usually there are people like giving you stuff for free and things like that, or like prayer books or something. And I never stopped because I don't really care about these things. And all of a sudden, just one guy just stands in front of me, like stops me, and like shoves this book in my hand. And there was like this picture of Mother Mary, just herself, like in blue, and it says like, "I am with you and nobody against you." I'm like, holy shit! Like, okay, I was just thinking about her. So there are these awesome synchronicities that can happen in your day-to-day lives that are like very beautiful, and like I think like they never get old. Like especially when like nature reacts to what you do energetically, as always awesome. So, okay, so let's see. So Janine, I'm so thankful to see you back on your own doing this talk. I found you on 2020 and resonated. Thank you for speaking. Well, thank you. Yeah, like I'm trying to find also like new ways of like doing live events. I do want to keep the conversation, if like I invite higher vibrations, my divine feminine counterpart, for the live events, and like maybe other guests occasionally too, I don't know. But I really enjoyed those as well, and I think it's like a completely different dynamic, because like you have two perspectives, especially if you have a divine masculine and feminine. It's like even better because we can like complement each other even more and bring completely two different perspectives to the table, and especially enjoy during conversations the dynamic that can happen. Hey, and higher vibrations had joined us. Okay, hey, if you want to add something to ask or to share, then please do raise your hand.
Hello. I didn't realize you had so many people in audience on this.
I do, but everyone stays muted, so nobody wants to speak on YouTube.
There we go. Well,
So
I
thank you
had
for being
something
the
to add,
courageous.
if that's all right.
Okay, okay.
There's this beautiful energy coming in right now, and a lot of people aren't sure how to direct that energy. And so I'm just the guidance of using like the top of your head. You don't have to though. You can use like a different chakra, guiding the light of God down into you, and then that will be sent to whatever area of your body that is in healing right now. And it's just a method that a lot of people don't seem to know, and that's why I'm here to say that is that. Because there's so many things coming in right now, it's a little overwhelming, and people sometimes feel over encumbered and not sure how to act, to what to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like regarding the whole, I was talking about this limbo phase. I think yesterday or when I've seen a video from Elizabeth April, she was like also talking about this whole being I think he's talked about it like this suspenseful pause or something, like that you're like many things are present and it's like not clear how to move forward or like what to act upon, because like we have so many possibilities right now, and like we don't know how to move forward. Yeah, like I also wanted to talk about that. Basically, like that was the general topic for this discussion, of like how you can actually choose and like consciously like guide yourself on the specific timeline that you want to be in, instead of like manifesting your unpleasant subconscious belief systems. So I hope that managed to help some people. And I know that many of you have been already doing it. So congratulations. And also much support and love to anyone who's just starting out to do it in a conscious way. It can be like a crazy ride because like all our lives we've been conditioned for the opposite. It's like, hey, like let other people decide for you, like who you are, how you should think, like how you should dress, who you are in life, what kind of job you can have, how you can earn a living. Like society, parents, school, and like everyone else will like decide this for you. And there were like only a few courageous people who like willingly like stepped forward and like said like, no, like I'm going to do my own thing and try this and this and that, even though like everyone says that I shouldn't because they were scared to do it. Wow. Basically, you were talking a lot about water, and our internal water pump just started up. I think it sensed you or something. like High Vibration had a call with, I'm not sure, how do you call
Plumber?
Yeah, you had a call that like water is gravitating towards you. So
Yeah.
our internal well fountain has just started to like turn on.
And water's starting to, it seems like water's waking up, but what's happening is we're raising our frequency high enough to reach the same frequency that water consciousness exists and resides in, at least in its earliest state. I think that the consciousness of water evolves more and more as we ascend higher and higher. And to bring this up is that the consciousness of water is that water is becoming something that we can really communicate with in an even deeper way than we realize. You know, in the water code that we put into our water, how we talk to ourselves, being that we're bodies mostly of water, is affected directly in the same way. You know, I can't remember the man right now. I have a lot of images. Guardian, the man that first was able to tell people, hey, look, if I say mean things to water, it changes. And if I say nice things to water, it changes in a more beautiful way.
Yeah, like it's the research of Masaru Emoto, if I'm correct. Yeah. Hey, and thank you, Janine, for the super chat. Grateful.
That's awesome.
Much love. Yeah, like where we were, yeah, like with the whole conditioning stuff and like moving beyond the conditioning phase. And yeah, like even for us who've been on the journey for quite some time, it has taken us quite some time to like recalibrate and like reteach yourself on like how to work and like how to think and how the universe works and like what can you do in life. And it can be super challenging, but I think it's the most rewarding thing that you can do in your life, to like actually serve yourself and like everyone around you. Just as I'm not sure who said it in the chat, that we're like this drop of water in the ocean, and like this droplet's purpose in the ocean is to like bring clearing and healing to many parts, to the collective. And the only way we can do it is like to clean house first, to clean ourselves and to heal ourselves. And like through that, we're like sharing that energy of cleansing and healing with everyone else too. So basically, that's why we're here. You don't have to change the world, you just have to change yourself. Like, it's a super cliche thing, but it's very true. Like, that's how you work. If you want to change the world in a drastic way, then it's probably not going to work out in a profound way, because like you're forcing people to adapt to your belief systems rather than actually allowing them to have the realizations themselves.
Right.
Because like that's the only way it can really work. Like you can't force anyone to see your truth or to awaken as you did, because they have their own journey. It's like almost like when someone has like an issue in their life or something that they can't get over with, like they're avoiding it. And if they themselves don't make the choice to work on themselves, then you can like help them or like force your help on them as much as you can, because they just simply won't receive it because they're not in the state to actually do anything with that energy, basically.
Right.
So this is why the best thing to do is like do it yourself, do it on yourself, and basically be the shining example of, hey, like this is what you can do and achieve in your own life too, like if you want to take the route too. Yeah. And yeah, many people don't want to take the journey because they realize that it involves a lot of work, but that's the only way you can do something in the physical reality, is that you actually have to first like have the idea, the energy, the concept for it, and after that like act upon it and like bring it into the material world. Like you have to take steps actively to actually manifest what you want to bring in here. It's not enough to just visualize and hope that it will manifest. So if you want to manifest for yourself a beautiful shining car, you have to like maybe make a plan, like what are the steps that I can actively take each day to manifest that car for myself instead of just wishing for it.
There's another point to that, by the way, the golden yellow chakra, the solar plexus chakra, as well as like the sacral and also the root, I guess too, is the areas that most people are complaining about ascension symptom wise. Simultaneously, manifestations becoming more and more rapid. It happens quicker. So there's a lot going on with this chakral area. So if anyone is struggling with that, to direct the light there, focus on it. A lot of what we've done through these sessions is individuals are noticing there's a neglect feeling to specifically the sacral orange chakra. It's interesting that when we go there, it's like talking to an entity, a being. They're like, I've been here all along and you didn't even notice me, kind of stuff, And so
like we have so many things around us. We're like living with blindfolds and earplugs all our lives.
Thank you for doing this lovely thing. I'm gonna leave now. I have something coming up in 15 minutes, but I'm gonna be listening in. Thank you for inviting me to join you.
Hey,
and
thank you for dropping by. Like nobody wanted to talk to me, so thank you for being the one.
You're not alone. There's a lot of us out here listening to you. You're doing great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Hey, we have Anya too. Hello.
Hi. Yes, I was wondering, what is the difference between anchoring your root chakra and your feet chakras down into the lava core and then transmuting it and then bringing up the lava healing frequencies, minerals and vitamins? I do that. And then also I anchor in my feet chakras and my root chakras in the crystalline core and receive other healing frequencies when I'm standing in that core. Sometimes my whole physical being, in my mind's eye, of course, goes down into the lava and goes down into the crystalline core. Can you tell me what the differences are?
Okay, well, I haven't really like experienced that, to be honest. But regarding the whole crystalline core and all those stuff, like what I have experienced and like what knowledge I do have about it, is kind of that there's like, it can like happen on two folds, like physically, also like absorbing stuff from Mother Earth and also energetically as well. And I'm going to also address both. I'm just going to like stop everyone's video. Okay, stop video. Okay. And basically, yeah, like I also wanted to share what higher vibration was talking about. I hope everyone can see that, about the water crystals. And it also ties into what Fanya said also with the crystalline stuff and like how all of these activities are like changing our bodily structure as well. For example, most of us, I mean, not most of us, but all of us are mostly water. And depending on what types of energies we hold up in ourselves, and basically this is what happens to water. So if you're like holding very unpleasant energies within yourselves, then you're becoming much more lower vibrational and also your physical body is affected by it. But if you choose to like focus on the higher vibrational things and transmute density within yourself, then basically you're physically also changing yourself and becoming more high vibrational. And yeah, like this also ties into like what Thanya said of like absorbing these energies from like Mother Earth, of like, well, basically when you like ground with her, some can have the opportunity to like go out in nature and like work with her, like physically be bare feet, like work with plants and all that. So physically you're like grounding and like recalibrating your energies within, which is great. But some of us don't have the opportunity to do that because maybe if you like live in a big city, yeah, like it has been quite difficult for me as well for quite some time. But yeah, like just connecting with the air or wind is awesome. And basically visualizing and like traveling etherically to the core of Mother Earth or interacting with Mother Earth can have kind of the same effect, mostly, of like grounding and recalibrating yourselves to like crystallize your water and all those good stuff. So I highly recommend working as much as you can with Mother Earth's energies, because it's like crucial in this whole awakening process. And we're going back. Okay. It's crucial in the whole process because most of us are like kind of very much attuned to like high vibrational energies of like working with the higher realms, working with ETs, angels, and all that. And since the earth realm is a very unpleasant place for most of us, it's very dense. We had a lot of trauma. We don't prefer the place where we live. We don't prefer many of the people that we maybe communicate with on a daily basis. So for most of us, especially in the beginning, it's like an escapism of like escaping to a more better place where we can be more of ourselves, and also like a place which is much more familiar, because for many of us, like it's much more familiar to be in the higher realms because that's our home basically. And most of us are representative of that energy. And yeah, like many of us do escape to that place. But the problem is that, hey, like we're in a physical reality. And at the same time, we're a spiritual being, but we have to balance the two out. So that's again where this whole grounding and working with Mother Earth comes in, that the spiritual aspect is kind of like easier for us. But the challenge in this lifetime is to make it work here in the physical reality too. Like that's kind of the challenging stuff. Like in previous lifetimes, we kind of had the opportunity of like being isolated in a monastery or in a cave or outside in the forest to be a monk or hermit, where we're like isolated from all the horrible things of physical reality and just focus on our journey. But I think like in this lifetime, for most of us, especially if you're listening, our purpose is to like find a way to make it work, spiritual path to make it work here in a day-to-day life too. So you can, so basically to like find a new way of how to live from the higher realms perspective when you have a family, when you go to work, when you go to the grocery store and do your everyday stuff. We have to find a way to be higher vibrational and in alignment with our hearts, even in those situations, like, however difficult and weird it may seem at the beginning. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, like we're going to close in about 7 minutes. So if anyone wishes to share or add anything, now would be an extraordinarily amazing time to do so. Okay. Let's see. Jana, I definitely resonate with what high vibrations said about sacral chakra. Yeah, like I also have challenges with that part of my being. Like a common trait with like star seeds and like light workers is that like we're very much home in the maybe heart chakra, throat, third eye, and crown. but we're having difficulties with the lower chakras. Like that just doesn't really resonate with us, because like all the lower chakras have to do with the lower realities, basically, with the 3D reality, with survival instincts and all those things. And that just doesn't really resonate with us. But still, we have to find a way to like bring that into balance as well, because you can like never step forward if you're off balance. So if you're like super at home with your higher chakras and you're neglecting your lower ones, then of course you will not be able to move forward, sadly. Like Mia, wearing a labradorite stone helps me to cope with lower frequency energies I pick up from other people. But in the earth in the evening and rinsing with streaming water. Oh yeah. Yeah, like using crystals is great too. I use orgonite. Like I have them all day long with me. Oh, it just has a little heart on it too. Like this is a orgonite. It is made out of brass, iron powder, clear quartz, and shungite. And it's basically for transmuting all density, especially electromagnetic frequencies, and like transforming into the positive stuff. They also call it passive harmonizers as well. So they're great for protection and like absorbing and transforming unpleasant energies around your house. You can also wear them. Like you can't really wear this huge pyramid, but it's great to, I know, like I have it on my PC. I also have one in my pocket, which is smaller, and they can like really help you through the day of like recalibrating yourself. And like, it's just kind of like a tool that helps you navigate difficult situations, in my opinion. So it doesn't do the work for you, but it's rather just assisting you with it. Hey, we have Lisa too. Hello, Lisa. Hey, do you have any questions for tonight? We're going to close in about 3 minutes. Okay, I guess not. If you muted yourself. So thank you for joining us on the Zoom too. Okay.
Guardian.
Yes. Oh, it's Fania. Okay, hello.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I cannot see you. Yeah, the button is muted for the camera.
Okay. Well, we can hear you. So do you have anything to ask or add in closing?
Yes.
Okay.
About the lower root chakra. When I just imagine an opening, like a hedge, I'm opening it, and then I'm just cleaning it all out. That the dark stuff of lower vibration, I'm just clearing it out, dusting it out. So maybe it can help too.
Yeah, like a lot of lower energies can get stuck in it, basically. But yeah, like in general, what would I recommend is the working with the violet flame. So if you like have a part of your body, like in general, I would recommend like working with your entire being, like not just a specific part of your body, but like purge your entire system with the violet flame, like transmuting all density, fear, doubt, and everything that is of lower nature inside of your system, and basically raise your vibration, like supercharge your healing process, your regeneration process. And it's just in general, like if you're going to bed soon, like try it out to do a 5-minute violet flame meditation to clear all the crap from your day, like all the remedies, all the leftover energies from your social interactions, of like the experiences of being at work or with people that you wouldn't want to be with. Oh, my light just turned off. Okay, so yeah, just basically clear out all the stuff that has been left over, and you will find that you will have a much more pleasant sleep. You can also program the violet flame to function while you are sleeping, basically. So there are like no limitations on like what you can do with it, but be creative and use your imagination. And also like ask your guides to hold the energy of it during your sleep, because when you sleep you can't focus on it, but they can. So they can hold that energy for you. So higher vibrations, focusing on a specific chakra in meditation is very helpful for it. Pull the light down from God and have it shine into the chakra in issue. Watch in your mind and color growing brighter. Send it love. Yeah, just send it love. It's also higher vibrations. Preferred practice of sending love. I send it fire, but it's basically two different forms for the same thing. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us on this very experimental live event. And yeah, like I hope for next, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it next week as well. Let's see how I'm going to have time and energy. But I hope next week more people can join us, maybe on Zoom, and also have a conversation. And let's see how it goes. But anyways, thank you for everyone who joined. Thank you for the super chats as well. And have a wonderful day, night, or morning, in whichever case you are right now. Have an awesome day and hope to see you soon. Bye.